Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, on this episode of the Bullet Points, video 1 of 3 today, we are going to dive into an opinion piece coming out of the Washington Post. Now, they're focusing on the St. Louis tragedy that happened in the high school last week. Of course, when all you desire is gun control, all of your outcomes are going to become gun control. When you expect the bias of gun control to be the only answer, that's the only solution you can come up with. We're going to dive into this pretty deeply because even in their article, which is right here from the Washington Post, it's linked in the description, advocating for gun control, it disproves gun control even further, but they can't see it, so you need more gun control. Not to mention the fact that mental health issues are clearly obvious, not to mention the fact that schools were hardened and protected, which is why the outcome was what it was. All these things have to be ignored because the clear, defined outcome and desired outcome is gun control. Therefore, the bias determines the answer. Let's keep going. I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, Arms Directory, and then we're going to dive into this, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Now, Arms Directory is a two-way friendly social media site and marketplace of ideas. And with social media at large censoring us pretty hard on our freedom, this is a safe harbor for us to share all the things that we are passionate about. They are the only two-way protected social network out there where we can share our passions freely with one another. You're free to post your favorite freedom pics, blog posts in the industry, and local events and more. And when you're there, please join the LOA family. Make sure that we can connect and share our passions. And thank you so much to Arms Directory for sponsoring this content. So alright, my brothers and sisters, as I mentioned, we have got to dive into this piece because we have got to refute it. This is something that is clearly biased, but we have to hit it and meet it on its own ground because it doesn't make sense on the very base levels. Now keep in mind a few things while I'm reading this article to you. The bias of gun control is clear here because the desired outcome is the solution that's always provided. It's amazing that bias, how it drives everything here. Second thing I mentioned in the intro, you've got the hardening of schools, which was dramatically effective in reducing the tragedies here. And then you also had quick police response and you had a mental health issue involved. All of these things are the gun rights answer to this problem, but it's being ignored because, again, that gun control bias is built into their outcomes. Let's keep going. Everything is linked in the description box below. Can't wait to hear from you guys on this one. Opinion. The St. Louis school shooting is a case study in gun law dysfunction. Now, this is from the Washington Post. You can pretty much imagine where this is going to go. It's all about gun rights laws being the problem and being the failure, and we need more control across the board. This is where that bias I was talking about comes in. But I'm going to walk you through what their points are, and then I'm going to quickly point out the obvious discrepancies with reality and what they're actually advocating for, because it disproves itself. The shooter was 19, a former student at the school, and he came armed with an AR-15 style rifle and 600 rounds of ammunition. How he obtained the weaponry could be a case study in how deficient the nation's gun laws are. So again, kind of just taking a little poke at the fact that we have gun rights in this country. If this individual is going against nation gun laws, you have the extreme, California, New York, and Illinois, and then you have the other, I wouldn't say extreme, the other norm of Missouri, Texas, states of that nature. But let's keep going. Authorities said he legally purchased the gun from a private individual after his efforts to purchase a gun from a licensed dealer were blocked by an FBI background check. That's important, background check. Apparently because of mental health issues. So if you got blocked by an FBI background check, and the entire argument for the background check through the NICS system is to prevent these types of individuals from having firearms, a danger to themselves or others, as they would say, I'm failing to see where the background check needs to be upped because the background check was a block to this individual. If your argument is background checks stop these things from happening, where's the argument go if the FBI did block that sale? Well, the next step clearly is to go into universal background checks. The only problem with that is the whole point of this person circumventing any type of background check was because they wanted to. It's not like a universal background check system is all of a sudden going to go, oh, cool, all the loopholes are plugged. No, criminals are going to criminal. We talk about it all the time. But let's continue. 9 days before the shooting, police were called into the gunman's home, and his family, worried about those mental health issues, asked authorities to remove the gun. Police determined the gunman was lawfully permitted to have a firearm. Okay, I wasn't there, I can't speak to that. But what I can say is this is aligning to red flag laws. As you can kind of observe here, they're building into the fact that red flag laws need to be in the case involved in the entire nation. The only problem is the entire red flag law outcome and apparatus where you call the police are involved, They confiscate the firearm at the behest of the family. All those things here happened. The individual still circumvented not only the FBI background check, not only the red flag laws, but they also circumvented all the other things that the family had in place to protect the individual from himself and other people. There's a lot more here than just, put a law on it, infringe upon law, infringe upon rights. It's okay because laws solve everything. We have a cultural problem. We have a mental problem, which is why Ted Cruz's whole bill with mental health funding and hardening of schools is what was needed in this case. Gun control did nothing and will do nothing. But let's continue. A third person, someone known to the family, took the rifle so it would be out of the home. So there we go. Police are investigating how the gunman got the weapon back. Again, the whole point is the weapon was removed from the individual. That is the red flag law desired outcome. This individual is about to go into the idea that you need universal background checks and red flag laws when both the case are completely counteracted by what happened here. Let's keep going. Missouri, notorious for having some of the weakest gun laws in the nation, doesn't have a red flag law that would have given the family legal recourse to confiscate the gun. The gun was gone. The gun was taken. What's your argument here? The argument is that confirmed bias that's baked into every desired solution. They want the red flag law on the books. The exact same outcome of a red flag law occurred here, but it doesn't matter. They want the red flag law anyway. It's not about the facts, it's about what I want. This is a confirmed bias. Let's keep going. The state doesn't require background checks to buy or own guns, and anyone who is 19 or older can legally conceal or open carry guns. Okay, there's the background check. The FBI did a background check because it's nationally required. This is where the whole myth of there's no background checks and gun show loopholes falls apart, because they even say in this article the FBI background check stopped the sale. So the criminal circumvented the system. That's what will always happen. Do you think a universal background check system is magically going to go, well, since it's universal, I guess I won't try to get the gun? No. Drugs do the same thing. Violence does the same thing. Criminals are going to criminal. But let's keep going. We have a problem in here in this nation, not in our rights. But anyway, let's keep on driving. Last year, the state enacted a measure barring police officers from enforcing federal gun laws, subjecting them to a fine of $50,000. Now, that's a very broad overdescription of the SAPA law, but essentially, gun control passed by the federal government, such as AR bans, magazine limits, that's not going to be enforceable. It's a little bit different than just saying, well, no gun laws in the wild, wild west of Missouri. But anyway, that's the whole point. The reason that I'm bringing this to you this morning is not to say that these tragedies don't need to be averted and we don't need to focus on them. The point is, everything that this article is advocating for was disproven in this case. It happens consistently across the board with gun control, because gun control is about a desired bias that's baked into the solution. It's not about solving the problem. And that's incredibly important to understand as we move forward in our fight for our rights. Everything is linked in the description box below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.